20 minutes to 11 next on the show today. A new ruling says government officials were too slow. I've pressed the wrong button. Let me just go back here a little bit. Thank you. Ministers are looking to overhaul the legal process for people to nominate someone to take financial and health decisions on their behalf if they lose the ability to act for themselves. There are more than 5 million registered lasting powers of attorney, or LPAs, as they're called for short, in England and Wales at the moment. But there's concerns that the system is too slow and too difficult to use. Under the current paper-based application process, it can take months for powers to be handed over. Leila Murray is an Ipswich solicitor in Kersey's private client department, and she joins us on the line now. Good morning, Leila.
Hello there. Hi. Thank you for inviting me on.
Listen, you're more than welcome. This is an issue that I would imagine affects a lot of people. Even just speaking to my mum. My mum's not a well woman, and I think she would like me to handle her affairs in the coming months. It's a real interesting subject to talk about. Can you tell us exactly what power of attorney is?
Okay, yeah, you've heard this word LPA. What does it stand for? Lasting power of attorney. It's a legal document that lets you choose trusted people to make financial decisions or health and welfare decisions on your behalf. And it's mainly used when you lack mental capacity to make those decisions yourself.
And at the moment, we're in this technological age where everything's on computer. But for this, it isn't. It's a paper-based application process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It is, but there's it provides. Well, this is where digital might have a problem, but it's the safeguarding of having it paper-based, because at the moment we see a client face-to-face. When we go through the form with them, they're clear on what they're doing, and it's all about assessing that person's mental capacity, which you can do, face-to-face and with the paper there.
Now, Leila, you know what you're doing. You're a solicitor. But for the normal person on the street, like me, for example, how difficult is this process?
Difficult. It's not difficult, but it's about understanding what you're signing as the person who wants to make the power. You have to have mental capacity to do the document in the first place. Okay.
And how long does it take then? The concerns are it takes too long.
Yeah. At the moment, if you were to look on the Office of the Public Guardian website, it will say registration is taking up to 20 weeks, so 4 months. Previously, it was probably more like 12 weeks, but obviously with the pandemic and people working from home, it has impacted on the length of time that it takes for the application to be processed.
I understand this is a very serious subject, really. Signing over all your possessions and worldly goods to somebody can't be done lightly. But what is the impact of how slow this process is on the people and families needing this power of attorney?
So until that power of attorney has been granted, the person, who might need it, they've still got to make decisions for themselves, even if they've got borderline mental capacity. So that's not ideal. If, for example, you had an elderly parent in a care home, and the care home's obviously wanting their money to pay for their care home fees, whoever they've appointed, their children, they can't sell their parents' home in order to pay for those care fees until they've got that power. So it can have impact. Likewise, with health and welfare powers of attorney, if the parent was rushed into hospital, the children they can't make a medical decision on the parent's behalf until they've got the power of attorney in place. So it can have quite a big impact.
Is this something that you're seeing more of? Because I mentioned my mum. My mum wants to sign everything over to me, to give me power of attorney, just so she knows all her affairs are in order, kind of thing. Is it just getting more and more common now?
Yes, I would definitely say that there's been a greater impact of a greater uptake of people wanting to make powers of attorney. I think people always thought about wills and thought, right, we need one of those because we're going to die at some point. But people didn't realise that, we're people, this society we live in, we're living longer because we've got the drugs to keep us alive. But it doesn't necessarily mean we know what we're doing.
What would happen if you didn't make a power of attorney? How complicated would that make things?
It's not very straightforward. Someone would have to apply to become a deputy. You'd have to apply for a deputyship order at the Court of Protection, and that route is much lengthier and more expensive than making a power of attorney document. So.
Right, so there's got to be a consultation to see if making the system digital will make it easier and quicker. What did you think when you first heard that?
Well, first off, obviously the world and the way we live and do things is all sort of going online, shopping, banking, passport applications. But powers of attorney, my main concern is how you safeguard, the elderly, the parent or whatever. I mean, often we find our clients don't have the knowledge or the technology to do it. So therefore they rely on their friends and relatives to do the application online, and they're putting their trust in those people. But how do we know that they're not exploiting them? Are they really acting in their parents' best interests? Because if you think about it, once you've got access to that person's bank account, you could withdraw all their money, How do you know they're going to spend it on that parent? So for us, we would say, obviously, to clients, by coming to an independent and experienced solicitor law firm, we can reassure the clients and we'll explain the whole process to them.
You'd like to keep that face-to-face, one-to-one, paper-based system, wouldn't you?
If there was a hybrid or a way that the digital, this new digital way can work where we can still have that safeguarding for the client, then I think, that would be okay going forward.
Okay, and we should leave it there, I think. But what advice would you have for someone who's perhaps is contemplating giving a member of their family power of attorney? Well,
but come and speak to Kersey's or a law firm, and we can explain that process. It's good if you're thinking about doing it because you still have to have mental capacity to do it in the first place. So what I would say is don't leave it too late. Come and speak to someone.
Thank you, Leila.
No worries. Thank you.
Take care. Leila Murray, an Ipswich solicitor from Kersey's private client department. Interesting, isn't it? Have you ever had to apply for a power of attorney for maybe an ageing relative or a sick relative? We'd love to hear your stories. We'd love to keep the conversation.